Jeff Davis knew early on he wanted Scott to head up a pack. It's why Scott's eyes look red in that one scene in Night School back in season 1. Yeah, a lot of people use this as a sign that Scott was always an alpha. And Jeff did say this was foreshadowing that. But in universe, the reason Scott's eyes flash red is because Peter is exerting a tiny bit of control over Scott's werewolf side. I've called this a psychic link before, but I've soured a bit on that wording because people take it so literally. It's more like when they roar and other werewolves have an involuntary reaction to hearing that sound. In Peter's case, his roar spoke to Scott's werewolf side, the part of himself that Scott barely has under control at this point. The sound awakened that bloodlusty instinct of the werewolf. It's actually a testament to how strong Scott was even then that he was able to resist his animal side and shake off the urge to kill. But that also means, in my mind, Scott can't be a beta at this point. The fact that Scott successfully resists Peter's attempts at controlling him at the school and then rejects Peter to his face when he and Derek ambush Scott in the shower.
We really just want to help you reach your full potential.
By killing my friends.
Sometimes the people closest to you can be the ones holding you back the most.
If they're holding me back from becoming a psychotic nut job like you, I'm okay with that.
I don't think Scott is a lone wolf, but he also doesn't have a pack as it is defined. So he's not technically part of a pack, but still has family and friends, so he's not alone either. Therefore, since he's not alone, he can't be considered an Omega. Scott has a full support system, including mentors in his mom, Stilinski, and Deaton, and a strong partner in Allison. Unfortunately, he's lying to them, so they're not technically in the pack, but they're still with him when he needs support. In my mind, for these few weeks after the bite, I don't think Scott fits any of the definitions for werewolf status provided by the show. That weird limbo eventually changes the night of their fight with Peter. That's the night Allison really joins the pack.
Why did you say?
Once the truth is out and she decides to stay with him anyway, you've got Scott, Stiles, and Allison, and that's what I consider the McCall pack at this point. And as I understand it, even without an alpha, they are, all three, considered betas because they're in a pack.
You want to tell them what we've caught?
An Omega.
The lone wolf. Possibly kicked out of his own pack. The survivor of a pack that was hunted down.
Scott is actually called an Omega by Derek at this point.
This is why you need me. Why we need each other. The only way to fight them is together.
But I think that's just werewolf bigotry. I don't think Derek initially recognizes humans as pack members. His attitude apparently changes as we get deeper into season 2. It's still just the three of them, but now Derek declares Scott to be an alpha of his own pack.
I think I'm finally getting why you keep refusing me, Scott. You're not an Omega. You're already an alpha of your own pack.
We know physically that's not how it works, but he's definitely leading a little pack.
I'll promise not to say anything about what just happened. If you can tell me what the hell just happened.
Then, about 2.5 months after the bite, Lydia is brought into the fold. Allison had to read her in on the supernatural elements to get her help with the bestiary after the whole Jackson is a lizard thing. And by the start of season 3, she's fully in the pack and helping at every turn. Still, as we understand it, all these folks are betas. Now, Scott is the leader, and in all things but eye color, he is the alpha. He's still not technically an alpha, as the show would come to define the status, but he's definitely in charge of these three betas.